standing for life, even when life knocks you down. Making breakfast, driving to work, paying bills. Karren Roy's days are like most of ours, except she's paralyzed. Shot by an armed robber when she was a sophomore at LSU.
I had gone to the LSU Rice football game, and we went to Tabby's Blues Box, which is a blues place that had been on North Boulevard for many years. And my boyfriend played guitar and wanted to go there that night to play. And we did just that, and then left, got to my car that had been broken into, and stopped to deal with that and call the police. And then the next thing we know, there's someone behind Mike and someone behind me, and someone hit me over the head with a gun, took my purse, and then shot me in the back.
It severed her spinal cord, punctured her lung, and she almost bled to death.
8 units of blood by the time that evening was over, and they didn't think I'd make it. I think they told my parents if I lived through that first 48 hours that I would be paralyzed, but they weren't sure if I was going to make it or not.
Her life forever changed.
I remember me asking my father and saying things like, it's not fair, like I was a good girl, like, you know, I followed most of the rules, not all of them, most of them, and he said, I never said fair is for games, he said, like Monopoly. And I never told you life was going to be fair. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to sit around and cry about this for long. And nobody in my house was going to join the pity party for very long. And my first question after finding out I wouldn't walk again was, can I still have children? And when they said yes, then I knew that I would figure it out.
She spent months in rehab and wanted everything available to keep her as fit and healthy as possible.
I saw all of these different ways that I could exercise and use my body and stay healthy, and I told my doctor I wanted every one of them. I wanted every standing device I could get my hands on, and I wanted that electrical stem bike to keep muscle tone in my legs.
She went back to LSU and finished her degree in psychology. Then she felt called to help others with disabilities. So she got a master's degree in social work.
From early on after my injury, when someone in the community would end up with paralysis for some reason or another, I would get a call to, Karren, can you come speak to them? Would you mind coming to talk to them? And just encourage them that life might look different, maybe bleak at the moment, but life is beautiful anyway, and you might live it differently, but who knows what you'll do with that.
Over the last 30 years, Karren's helped thousands with disabilities. She worked 20 years in hospitals doing medical rehab. The last 10 selling medical equipment and supplies for the disabled at New Motion. Now, she's reaching out in another way she never expected, as Miss Wheelchair Louisiana.
It's not a beauty contest. It's thank God you don't have to have any talent. So being an articulate spokesperson for people with disabilities is the mission. So my message is about health and wellness and the technologies that we can use to stay healthy.
In July, she competes for the national title in Michigan.
I really went into this fairly blind. I can't say I did a lot of research. I thought that I know the organization well enough to know that it's a reputable organization, and that advocacy for women with disabilities is what they do, is their mission. But I had something I wanted to say. I'm completely ill-prepared for the competition nationally, but I've got a little time.
Her platform is Stand for Life. Emotionally, she stands head and shoulders over many of us. Physically, this robotic device does it. It takes time and effort to get into it, but the benefits are worth it. It improves bone density, muscle tone, and her outlook, able to look straight ahead instead of always up at things.
Like, it's just nice to be able to look people in their eye, or even better, down at them.
She encourages others to try it for their physical and mental health.
The conversation goes beyond wheelchairs and urological supplies. It ends up about life and about relationships and about, how to deal with the next challenges that are come up, and career. It's a huge honor to be able to be involved in someone's life in a key moment, critical change in their life.
It's a growing circle.
it's not just the person that was injured or the person that has the new disability, but it's their family members as well. And I've been in the mall before where, you know, I've been stopped and they'll say like, you helped my mom or you helped my daughter or whatever the case may be.
What's the biggest question? Is there one prevailing question?
Did you marry the guy that you were with when you got shot? The answer is no.
But almost.
Very close. He's still my friend. There are people like, oh, so you married him? I'm like, no, other people wanted to date me. It's not just that one person.
Did you worry, like, will people want to date me?
Oh yeah. I think that's why we hung on for 5 more years. We were definitely, it was a first love situation, and yeah, he was my security, like very handsome musician that I was hanging around with, that I walked me to all my classes at LSU. That made going back to school a lot easier. I probably hung on longer than we should have. And then there was always the question of like, is he still with me because he feels, you know, guilty, you know, because we were there together. And I mean, when we broke up, I started dating right away. I am sure that there are lots of people that didn't want to date me because I was in a wheelchair, but there were plenty enough who did that it wasn't a problem. You can only date so many people at one time.
Karren says dating is often a real fear.
When you come through something like this, you may not be able to walk, but you're probably smarter and hopefully a better person than you were prior to it happening. And you want people that are attracted to that, right? I mean, I think those are the people that you want to be in a relationship with. And if somebody can't handle the chair, then they're like not the guy or girl for you.
The guy Karren married and raised 3 kids with didn't have any problem with the wheelchair. He developed problems with drugs. He died of an accidental overdose.
And it's a national epidemic. It's been about 2 years ago now. And but you know, I think my dad taught me well when he said things aren't necessarily fair. It's really what you make of them. It's not a struggle that I go through alone. This is a story of lots of families in this state, lots of families in this nation. We're just moving on from it and learning from it, and hopefully, again, maybe we can use it to help other people. I mean, that's what it's all about, really, is taking something tragic and hopefully making something good come from it.
She was even able to let go of any anger for the man who shot her. He's in Angola, serving a 240-year sentence.
Within a year, I was not mad at him anymore. I saw him at the trial, and he looked angry at me, actually. We had a little stare-down moment in the courtroom. But I realized then, like, wow, being mad at him would be a huge waste of my time. It released me from, like, having any angry feelings. And I realized, I mean, he probably came from a very difficult background. And me staying angry at him, and this sounds very cliche, but it was going to only hurt me. It wasn't going to hurt him. You know, and he's suffered the consequences of his actions, and I've gone on to have a great life.
A life where her body is paralyzed, but not her spirit. She's confident one day there will be a cure, and credits a Superman.
There was nobody really paying attention to a cure for spinal cord injury before Christopher Reeves was injured. And he took on that cause. When a cure comes that is readily available to everyone, he's going to be one of the key persons that was instrumental in starting that. Absolutely. I don't know that I will benefit from it, but who knows?
Karren's optimism, outlook, and exuberance will be on a national stage this summer, taking a stand for others with disabilities, holding firm in her stand for life.
I think that people are mostly good, and I think life is mostly good, and you know, the difficult circumstances roll in, and I think there's too much to be thankful for, you know, to cry about the things that we don't have.
In addition to competing in the national pageant in July, Karren will spend the next year traveling across Louisiana to build and develop the program here so that others with disabilities can share their voice. If you would like to help in that effort, check out her GoFundMe page. And still ahead,